A good Wednesday to you. Welcome back inside the Tier 4 studio in Morgantown, West Virginia. For the Charleston Daily Mail, I am Mike Casazza, and you are looking live at our Wednesday walkthrough. This is our weekly look ahead to West Virginia University's upcoming football game, and this is a big one. This is the University of Texas. You recognize the Longhorn in the helmet. You see the various national championships and conference titles. When you think about moving from the Big East or any conference to the Big 12, you think about the opportunity to compete against the Longhorns, the Burnt Orange Nation, and for the entirety of WVU's existence in the Big 12 and those high-level sports, West Virginia has gotten the best of Texas on the basketball court, on the football field. It's been the Mountaineers' day or night. Will it be their night Saturday? Who knows? But when you look at the move a couple years ago now to this league, you think about the chance to play Texas football at home, at night on national television. Wouldn't you know it? First home night game of the year on Fox. It's not Gus Johnson and Charles Davis. It's Greg Bolerjack and Joey Harrington. But nothing to sneeze at. A big opportunity for West Virginia to move forward in their late season push. Are we going to call it that? I don't know. At the very worst, maintain your dominance over the Texas Longhorns, as funny as that sounds, but that would be quite an accomplishment this time, because while West Virginia is maybe not going in this direction, maybe kind of like this, and then leveling out against TCU last week in a game the Mountaineers could have very easily lost, they at least get a chance at home against a team that is hot. You would have not expected this earlier in the season. Texas was 1-2, a joke on defense, fired their defensive coordinator after giving up 550 yards rushing to BYU. Rewind and play it again. That's not a typo. It wasn't me misspeaking. It's a lot of yards rushing to a team that has been synonymous with the past throughout the years. They've changed things up at BYU. That caused Mack Brown to change things up. Gone. Manny Diaz back. Greg Robinson. And wouldn't you know it, he's been really, really good. The game will be won up front for either team. West Virginia's offensive line and defensive line, the better on both sides Saturday against TCU. And let's start there as we talk about the Texas defense, which is a small rejuvenation period here under Robinson against West Virginia's offense here. The defensive line, two really good players, Cedric Reed as a defensive end, Jackson Jeffcoat as a defensive end. Their inside guys are tough. Chris Whaley actually has 2 touchdowns this year. Malcolm Brown, a big guy in the middle, but their outside guys, Jeffcoat and Reed. Jeffcoat, a pro. You know him from last year. He gave West Virginia's tackles trouble. Reed actually leads the team in tackles and sacks and forced fumbles. Unusual for a defensive end, but he's active. How have they done it? They really played normal. They play 4-3. They try to outnumber in the box. They'll move a safety down, but they let their linebackers do some work. Chris Edmonds, a really good linebacker there, but they bring a safety down, and they just let their guys play football. Before, if you watched them, the one reason they missed a lot of tackles and the one reason they were chasing people, they were twisting and stunting and jumping around and getting out of position. Not like that now. Greg Robinson has brought a very normal approach to them. I don't want to say vanilla and have you laugh at a Greg Robinson defense, but it's been a little bit like that. If you have all this talent like Texas does on defense, you let athletes be athletes, and that's kind of what happened here. They also have really good guys outside. They play a lot more man coverage now. Carrington Bindum, very good corner. Quandre Diggs, very good corner. Adrian Phillips, active safety. They're really good on defense when they're locked in and when they execute, like I said, a simple game plan, though, which means you can take chances on them. You can pass down the field. You can run up against defensive backs who have their backs turned, a little bit maybe like Tavon Austin in Oklahoma last year. Those kind of things, just simple stuff. Got to win the point of attack, and West Virginia's offensive line was really good at that last week. Big, big game again for those 5 players. And you've seen Mark Lewinsky and Quentin Spain play really well of late. Pat Egger, when he's been in the game, which he did a good job of last week, didn't get hurt. A good interior attack for West Virginia. That'll stop a lot of the things that Texas wants to do, but those tackles are going to have their hands full. I guess not hands full, that would be holding, but they're going to have attention given to those outside guys, Reed and Jeffcoat. Texas's offense, really interesting too. They're kind of balanced, which is the way that Mack Brown wants it. About 450 yards a game with about 200 on the ground and 250 through the air. Quarterback play is stabilized under Case McCoy, but they are explosive. You wouldn't think about it, but 10 touchdowns this year, 45 yards or more. That comes from 8 different players, though. They're spreading the ball around. They do really interesting things, and if you look at who's getting the yards and who's getting the plays, it's a lot of different people. Mike Davis, outside receiver, really one of the best as far as going down the field and making a play. He's tough. Jackson Shipley, kind of that underneath guy they can do some stuff with, more of a possession guy. But watch out, Dejay Johnson and Marcus Johnson are exciting guys. Marcus Johnson kind of come out of nowhere as a big play threat in the last couple of weeks. Dejay Johnson, Really versatile guy, can be used in a bunch of different ways. They'll spread you out, they'll go vertical, they'll also just catch and run with some really exciting players with the ball in their hand. All that overlooks what they really want to do. They really want to run the ball. Mack Brown, 16 seasons now, 128 wins, 7 losses when they outrush the opponent. They've done it in different ways with running quarterbacks like Vince Young and Colt McCoy, but 3 pretty good running backs now that they do it with. Jonathan Gray, Malcolm Brown, and Joe Bergeron. 3 guys about the same size, about the same skills. Things don't change when they bring a new guy in. They run the same stuff. They keep guys fresh. And a very good offensive line. Consider this, West Virginia's defensive line coach, Eric Slaughter, who has to be feeling pretty good about the way his defensive line has played of late, especially with guys being healthy and guys like Noble Wachukwu coming out of nowhere and giving him an outside presence. He went through the ranks in Texas, high schools, FCS schools like Stephen F. Austin. He's had his eye on Texas football for a long time. Not unusual when you're in that state. Texas, the preeminent presence when it comes to football. He says that this is the most physical and maybe one of the best offensive lines he's seen as he's been watching Texas from up close and afar. Quite a compliment. They're very good, they're big, they're strong, they're mean. They've recruited well, and they've actually started to play well up front, which has been a bit of a bugaboo for them in recent years. They've only made one change. It was 5 games ago. They've had the same starting lineup for the past 5 games, not coincidentally. 5-game winning streak. So offensively, they've had 30 or more in the last 5 games during this winning streak. Stabilized under Case McCoy. They'll take their shots downfield. McCoy, not a great touchdown to interception ratio, not a great completion percentage, but he finds the spots, he makes plays, he hands the ball off too, which is sometimes the most important thing he has to do. And defensively, they're really shutting teams down. 13.3 points their last 3 games, only about 260 yards of offense. And again, as they've gotten used to Greg Robinson, as they've gotten comfortable in pretty basic but pretty effective game plans on defensively, they've been good. So West Virginia, got to win the battles up front. Can't let them be chasing Clint Trickett around, and you can't be letting them push your defensive line into the secondary and gash them with their 3 running backs. So again, run the ball, stop the run, make good plays, don't turn over. Sounds like every game, but when you can do it at home and when you can unplug what the other team that's on a roll wants to do, you have a really good chance.